Welcome. If you don't know me, I am Jade Phoenix, and this is my first vlog of 2017. Yes! This is actually the first time that I'm taking this vlogging thing seriously. If you look back at my channel from the last handful of videos that I've posted, you will see that I have one vlog video where I'm rambling for 22 minutes just talking for no specific reason. So I'm gonna try not to do that here. We're gonna get to a point. So every month I'm going to share one of my tattoos. Throughout 2017, there's 12 small tattoos that I have on my feet. And the reason that I'm going to even be talking about this with you is because these tattoos are, they each have special meanings, which most of us who have tattoos got them for a reason. We love something, we're passionate about something, something means something to us. But there's 12 of them and there's 12 months in the year, so I figure, one for each month, get it popping, do our thing. So I can't show you my foot right now because that would involve some sort of gymnastic sort of foot behind the head maneuver that I'm not doing. So I'll insert pictures. Adinkra symbols, and pardon me, let me just say this. I am a white woman. I am from Spanish descent. I have Irish genes somewhere back there, probably some Scottish, English, all of that, mainly Spanish. And yes, I have African symbols tattooed on me, but we all come from one place anyway, so anywhere you can find meaning and wisdom and self-awareness and connection to your inner source of energy, your true self, then I feel like if that's what makes sense to you, then go for it. So we're just gonna get that out of the way. Yes, I have West African tattoos, symbols tattooed on my body. I love it. I think it's beautiful. I love learning about cultures different from my own. I love experiencing cultures different from my own. I think the separatism that we have going on in the world is part of our biggest problem, because as human beings, we are meant to be social, communal creatures. We need each other, men and women, people of all races and cultures. We need each other. So I very much believe in unity and appreciation for each other and love for all things that are one. So having gotten that out the way, let's talk about Adinkra symbols. So via Wikipedia, because that is the easiest way for me to explain it to you. Sometimes I'm not all that great at putting my own thoughts into words, which might be hard for some people to believe. Adinkra are visual symbols originally created by the Ashanti that represent concepts or aphorisms. Adinkra are used extensively in fabrics and pottery. They are incorporated into walls and other architectural features. Fabric Adinkra are often made by woodcut sign writing as well as screen printing. Adinkra symbols appear on some traditional Akan? Forgive me, look, I'm sorry. I'm not good with the pronunciation of names. I'm really bad. Gold weights. The symbols are also carved on stools for domestic and ritual use. Tourism has led to new departures in the use of the symbols in such items as t-shirts and jewelry. The symbols have a decorative function, but also represent objects that encapsulate evocative messages that convey traditional wisdom, aspects of life, or the environment. There are many different symbols with distinct meanings, often linked with proverbs. This is why I found these to be very inspirational for me, because I feel like if you're going to brand yourself in any kind of way, whether it be physically with a tattoo on your body or with values that create the structure for how you live, then it needs to be something that obviously matters to you and resonates with you personally. The story of how I came across having these tattoos is funny, but the gist of it was I was at a tattoo party and I wasn't expecting to get any work done. As much as I love tattoos, that wasn't going to be the day for me. But the opportunity opened up and I was doing a little research, and I knew that I wanted something that was in the realm of proverbs that speak true to who I want to be moving forward in my life. At that time, I was in the middle of a clusterfuck type of a situation in my personal life, and I was trying to get into a fellowship of some sort. I was trying to find my community, find my sisterhood. This hair is like on some other shit. I was trying to find I don't know, a family outside of blood relation. I was trying to find kinship. And so I had, at the time, joined a fraternity. And I say fraternity, it's not collegiate. It was not based on like schooling. So it was a fellowship group. It was one of my sister's house that we were having this party at. So I was just thinking about all of that at the time. That was weighing on my mind. So I brought that up just to let you know where I was at the time that I got these tattoos. So this is what the symbol looks like. Okay. The Adinkra symbols are pretty simple, which is actually something that I really like about them. I'm currently a graphic design student, and I love so many different styles of creative design, of ways of creating logos and icons and representations of things, and movement and stillness and emotion, and the simplicity is one thing that I really like among many different styles. But I do really enjoy something that can be conveyed simplistically, because that's kind of how I feel about my life at this point. Like, let's keep shit simple, okay? Because life tends to be complicated all on its own. We don't need to make it any worse. So I really like that about the Adinkra symbols, that they're all sort of simple representations of these symbols of greater meaning. Okay, again, con permiso, excuse me, because I am very bad at pronouncing. I mean, this is like across the board. This is not just for these tattoos, so pardon me, but this is Fawahodi. That's what this symbol is, and it is a symbol of independence, freedom, and emancipation. You might think, why do I need a tattoo of emancipation on me? Look, we are all slaves to the system. I think we all need to be freed from certain things. We are all born into families and religions and communities and identities and ethnicities and race, culture, nationalism that is imposed on us from the outside. We're not born knowing these things and being passionate about these things. They are put onto us when we arrive. And so I think it's important to have priority on that journey of self-awareness and discovering who you really are, and discovering which of these suits really fit you, and how many of these hats can you wear at one time, and how does this filter your view of the world and the way that you operate in the world? How does this control how you connect with others? You know, what is your higher purpose? And do these ways that you identify yourself, I was like all in your face there for a second, wasn't I? I was really trying to get intimate with you there for a second. Let me back up a little bit, okay? I'm gonna be over here. You will hear this a lot from me, that personal growth and development is of like supreme importance to me. It's like the keystone of my structure, the structure that is me. And I'm very passionate about that. Not just being aware of yourself, but also taking the time to really understand what it is that makes you, and then understand what limiting thoughts and habits you have. And so again, this comes back to independence, freedom, emancipation. And let me just say that the reason I got these tattooed on my feet is because to me it represented how I wanted to be moving forward in life. So literally thinking, I'm walking every step that I take, every piece of my life, every day, every minute, every relationship, every person whose life I touch, with a blog that I write or something I post on Facebook or a video that I share. That is a step in my life. Every little step, you're not gonna know what to expect. You're not gonna necessarily be able to see what's ahead of you. There have been many times I have taken leaps of faith into the darkness, holding on to my hope in the higher power, and just praying that I always have the capacity to survive whatever happens. And in some ways, I think that that's the only way to make it through life. Because if you remain guarded and in what you feel is this safe, protected bubble, which is a farce, by the way, there is no safe, protected bubble, then you don't end up taking those steps, and you miss out on all this growth. And I really feel like the highest fucking purpose for us is to become fully self-aware and freed from these limiting sort of thoughts. Like, you know, I was raised as a Baptist Christian. My mother's Catholic, but I went to a Baptist Christian school for 10 years of my formative part of my life. And this is, cause see, look, this was supposed to be about tattoos. Here we go, talking about my childhood and religion, and there's a lot here, okay? So if you're entertained, stay tuned, check it out. But anyway, I realized even then that man, humankind, was creating their own sense of religion. There was a blending, a mixing, a perversion, a convolution of religion, spirituality, and then man-made desires for controlling people, which would be laws and rules and morals and standards and values. So there was all of these things were being melded together in a way that was being shaped by people instead of following your higher calling. Now, I think it's great to have a set of standards for morals and values and to have a structure for what you believe in and your values, but that can all be achieved within, from self-awareness, from being able to put yourself in situations in your life where you get to see what really matters to you. If you don't ever step outside of your boundaries, then you don't know what really matters to you. You don't really know who you are. So I just focus on my connection to my spirituality and my faith in a higher power and the universe and how it connects all of us and how we all have that spirituality within us. We all have a greatness within us. We all have a purpose within us. So that's sort of what this represented for me, was taking that unknown step forward one day at a time towards my independence of identity. And I don't mean individualism. I'm American, obviously, and in America there's this focus on individualism, this individualistic identity, which I think is kind of a tragedy, because again, I think we've lost a lot of our value in community, and I think that our community connections with one another are really what make us thrive, and I think that's our calling to give and add on to each other, to influence each other, to help each other, to inspire each other, to connect with each other, to raise questions for each other, to help each other on our journeys, to give that tough love that nobody else is saying to you, to play devil's advocate with good intent for a good outcome, so that you can help someone see the other perspective of something that they might not be paying attention to. All of these things to me are ways of freeing yourself one step at a time. So that's what that tattoo means to me. There's 11 others, as I've said, and they all come together, in my opinion. They're all from the Adinkra symbols, and they all come together for me to signify taking that step every single day towards these things that I value, towards these things that the outside world does not control me. we have our environments that influence us, we have our connections that shape us, we have our experiences that mold how we function. But when you take that journey of awareness and you start really waking up and looking at all these different elements of life and society, then you get to have the freedom to decide your part in it, to decide who you want to be to other people and what sort of energy you want to serve this world. To me, that's freedom. Being able to be aware, to understand your environment, to see a greater picture of yourself and a greater purpose outside of just making it to Friday so that you can relax on the weekend. There is so much more here to this existence than that. It's really in our control. And I know that I've been through some shit in my life. I know that I could easily say, well, I am this way because this happened over here, you know, and these things do influence us, but I have a choice. And to me, that's empowering to know that. It's empowering to know that no matter what I'm going through, I have a choice. Yeah, one day at a time is how I do it. So if you like this video, subscribe, check me out. I know this is like brand new for me. I promise we will grow together and improve and learn together. And if you just roll with me, if you dig it, subscribe, share it with whoever, you know, it doesn't matter. Anybody that you think it resonates with. Let me know what you think. Comment. I would love to interact with you. Let's talk about it. All right?